I just finished Brachy's Game Jam, which is my first Game Jam. And these are the 5 things I learned from the experience. For context, I've been doing game development for about 6 months, but I'm a programmer by trade. The first thing I learned was to keep it simple. The game I ended up making was way too complicated, and because of this, we barely finished on time. Because we couldn't spend the time needed to make the game more fun and polished, it ended up being not very good. For my next game jam, I'm gonna make a super simple game and have it done in about a few days, and then spend the rest of the time polishing and making it fun. I know it's very tempting to dream big and make a super big game and try to finish it, but I promise you it's a trap. I would suggest focusing on 1 or 2 core systems and then making those systems very nice and polished and fun, as opposed to having a bunch of systems that kind of suck. The next thing I learned is that you actively have to make your game fun. It doesn't just happen by itself. I know this seems obvious, but you really have to put a lot of effort and trial and error to making your game actually fun and rewarding. This really ties in with my previous point, is that this process takes time, and if you don't have that time, your game is gonna suck. You have to make choices to make the game fun. As someone who plays a lot of games, I took that games were fun for granted, never really questioning why they were fun. I now realize that everything in a game is a choice that someone made, and that the accumulation of these choices is what makes the game fun. Like the sound that the chests make when you open them, the animation, the music, the gameplay loop, all of it comes together to make a fun experience for the player, and all of these are choices that someone made. They don't happen by accident. The next thing I learned is that I should have spent more time planning, especially if you work with someone else. We started developing the first idea we had, never really taking the time to plan it out better and see where and what we could improve of the idea itself. Because of this, when we made the game, there were a lot of features that were missing that we rushed to add. Next time, I will spend more time thinking about how the idea fits into the theme and how to make it more fun for the player. So currently in the game, we have this pistol, but it's kind of very separated from the game because you have ammos, like for your inventory, since we have an inventory system. Find something I can show you. So you have an inventory system, but the weapon just uses like infinite ammo, even if we have pistol ammo, because this was like a last minute implementation. Also, this isn't the build that's on the itch.io page. As you can see, this pistol is like very kind of sucks. I mean, the way it floats around the player is fine, but you have infinite ammo. You can't really reload it. The only way to reload it is by shooting a bunch, and it reloads itself. Oh, like a very last minute implementation. Because originally the game didn't have a pistol, so initially we thought it would be a stealth game without any combat, so we didn't add a pistol. But as we played the game, we realized that without any combat, it was just really boring and kind of annoying because you had to loot containers, but the enemies chased you regardless, so you couldn't really stop them anyway. So like a few hours before the deadline, we decided to add a pistol so the player had more agency. But if we planned the game better, we could have implemented way better. The next thing I learned is kind of a 2-in-1 deal, but it's about motivation. So since I worked in a team, I found that it was much easier to get motivated and to get shit done than if I was solo. Especially for this game jam, I had like a pretty bad migraine the whole time, and I still kind of have it while making this video. And if it was just me working at the game, I would have definitely called it quits. But because I had someone else working with me, I kind of felt bad, so it kept me more motivated to actually get shit done. And also another aspect to motivation is as it relates to the main game I'm currently working on. And I thought that maybe the game jam would actually like lessen my motivation or something, I don't know. But actually it made me more motivated to work more on my game and give me like new perspectives. So if you're currently working on a game, I would highly suggest that you enter a game jam. The last thing I quote unquote learned was that this was a humbling experience. My only real skills in terms of game development is coding and maybe a little bit of writing. There's so many creative skills that I'm just lacking and that you can apply to a game, like visuals, sounds, sound effects, music, writing, game design, level design. There's so many, and I'm only getting started on this journey. And seeing all the games everybody else made just humbled me. I don't know, I just felt like, damn, there's so much creativity out there that there's still a lot I can learn. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out our shitty game, I've linked it in the description. You can play it directly in your browser. There's nothing to download. I'd also recommend you check out all the other submissions for Brachy's Game Jam, also linked in the description. I'm also currently working on my own game. It's a top-down pixel bullet hell roguelike. I think I've entered a dungeon but with more crazy combos. When I feel ready to show the game, I'll start a devlog, so stay tuned.